One moment. Joao. Yeah. Joao, hello. Yeah, you are on the stage.
So good morning or good afternoon, everyone. I guess you can hear me well, and now you maybe even can see me.
Yeah, yeah,
Am I right?
yeah. We can see you. So yeah, welcome to our virtual stage. So Joao Rodrigues Frade is head of sector of building blocks initiative and blockchain at European Commission. So I am heading this over to you, Joe, and yeah, thank you for joining us.
No problem. Just one question. Do you see my slides? Because I lost.
Yeah, I'm adding them right now. Yeah, now we can see your slides.
Perfect. So good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for having me in this event. I think the objective of my presentation is to give you a short introduction about the initiative that we call the European Blockchain Services Infrastructure, to which actually Ukraine is already an observer. And I believe some of you already know a bit about EBSI, as we like to call it. So my presentation will be going through the objective of EBSI and how we use blockchain in the public sector, right? Which is sometimes not understood by everyone as a possibility. And I will try to go through the use cases that we are currently investing in and how they can also be useful to you in the future. So my presentation is called "Can Europe Lead the Transition into Web3 and Decentralized Government?" Question mark. And can we use blockchain to make information easy to verify and almost impossible to fake? Because that's really the use that we will make of blockchain. As I said, this is not about crypto. This is not about decentralized finance, nothing to do with that. We are going to use blockchain to achieve a completely different objective. And I think this perspective is also interesting to this event. And so let's go and start. When people talk about the European Commission, of course, they don't associate the European Commission as actually doing technology and deploying technology. They mostly associate the European Commission as a regulator, which makes sense because that's the main function of the European Commission. The European Commission has many regulations, including the Digital Services Act, the Digital Markets Act, MiCA, which is the market in crypto assets. So Web3, Web2, the internet is, of course, being regulated by the European Commission, but that's not everything that the European Commission does. The European Commission also does a lot of enablement projects. So we are not just regulating technology, we are also, together with the member states, using and deploying technology. And one of the initiatives in this wide space of Web3 and blockchain is the European Blockchain Services Infrastructure, EBSI. So there are many departments in the European Commission, and I come from the Director General for Informatics. This means that I work with the department that is called Director General DG Connect that does the regulation part. So I don't do regulation, I do the enablement side. So that's just for you to understand where I come from in this vast organization called the European Commission. And I will be talking about only talking about this side of the equation, which is how does the European Commission work with the member states in actually using technology and deploying technology, and how do we actually enable blockchain to work for the public sector in Europe. And that will be the topic of my presentation. Um, so to explain what is this project called the European Blockchain Services Infrastructure, or EBSI, for many of you, you probably have heard it. Some of you have not. So for those that didn't, EBSI is a blockchain that is deployed by the member states for the member states. So it's totally separate blockchain from the public blockchains. It is a blockchain, as I said, run by the member states for the purposes of the public sector, which means that this is a blockchain that is public permissioned. So it means that only authorized entities can write on EBSI, but everyone can read from EBSI. So it's a hybrid blockchain. It's not public, it's not private, it's public permission. And given that we control this blockchain, even though it's deployed by every member state and therefore fairly decentralized, we use proof of authority to reach consensus. So it means that we are a quite green blockchain, and the concerns regarding the environment are taken into account by design. Now, we have been working on EBSI since 2019, so it goes back already quite a few years when the European Blockchain Partnership was created. As you know, Ukraine is now an observer of this European Blockchain Partnership that involves all member states. And essentially, the member states have gathered and said, we want to work on blockchain technology, and we want to do something that makes sense for us. So that was in 2019. And the idea was, can we create a blockchain which is for our own purposes outside of the crypto and decentralized finance domain? So that took quite some time. That took to 2020, 2021 to agree on the development of this separate blockchain and to also define some of the first use cases that we would be working on in this blockchain environment. So that was 2021. That led to the creation of EBSI and the first release of EBSI around 2022, where we actually started to experiment together with several member states different use cases and demonstrated that EBSI was viable and was ready to be used. Today, we are in absolute pilot mode, practically acceptance mode. So it means that we are not fully in production, but the network is in use. And we are currently working in three main domains: social security, education with diplomas, and combating counterfeiting, so verification of authenticity of products. And in the future, what we aim at doing is to create a sustainable governance model together with the member states, which we call EDIC, that will ensure the continuity of EBSI and, of course, the expansion of EBSI to other domains and use cases. So to explain, I'm coming from the European Commission. The European Commission supports and sponsors EBSI. We don't run a blockchain node. The blockchain nodes are run by each and every member state, completely decentralized. We help them deploying the nodes. We support them with the software that they use, as every node is similar, and we provide a number of services that help the member states to run this network. So the Commission is working together with the member states, but ultimately the member states are running this blockchain that is called EBSI, that is public permission, and that works with proof of authority. And we use an open source stack, the Bezo stack, that you might know. Everything is online, everything is open source, and you can consult it online. Nonetheless, as I want to emphasize, um, the blockchain is controlled by the member states, and only the member states deploy nodes. So we don't allow for the moment uh, other entities to deploy nodes, EBSI nodes. You can use them in terms of reading access, but you cannot write on this blockchain. This is not possible because the blockchain is controlled by the member states, and only entities that are vetted and allowed to write on this blockchain can do so. So now that you know what the BSI is, and you know that it's open source, you can go online, you can get more information. Let's then see how we are using EBSI and why we are doing this. So the objective of the member states and our first focus when using blockchain is to make information easy to verify and almost impossible to fake. So all the use cases that we're currently running have this common objective, which is to use blockchain technology or Web3 technology to make information easy to verify and almost impossible to fake. As you know, nowadays it's quite the opposite. Information is very easy to fake and very difficult to verify. Now, we believe that with the use of blockchain technology, we can turn things around and we can make information easy to verify and almost impossible to fake. And why does this matter? Well, simply because verification is actually the antidote to fake information. So if we are able to verify, we're able to know whether something is true or false. And this is, of course, very useful when we are in this world of generative AI that can generate, anything on the fly, uh, and the tons of information that are being created nowadays. It's just, growing and enormous. So if creating something fake is so easy, it should be equally easy to verify its authenticity. We have to keep that balance. And we believe that we can use Web3 technologies to achieve that objective. So the use cases that we are currently working on as part of the blockchain initiative that is known as EBSI are in 4 quadrants, but all of them are about verification of information. So the first quadrant is verification of authentic documents. So there you can think about verification of diplomas. So if someone applies to a new job, uh, it's quite difficult when you receive a diploma to verify the authenticity of the information. Moreover, if we are talking about cross-border verification, which means that the diploma comes from one member state to another member state, um, so the only way to do it nowadays is actually to go online and try to search that information. We want to make that much easier. Of course, if I talk about diplomas, it can be social security entitlements. It can be any authentic document issued by public entities or authentic sources. Then we have another very important set of use cases, which is verification of the authenticity of products. We call it anti-counterfeiting. So it means that when you buy a product, you want to make sure that you're buying a product coming from that specific brand and you're not buying a counterfeit. So that's another set of use cases. We have verification of authentic documents, verification of products, and then we have 2 other variants, which is actually verification of accreditations. So when you look at, again, a product, it could be accredited as being a bio product, or if you use a service, it could be accredited as a service that can serve a given purpose within a certain regulation. We want to make that accreditation easy to verify, which currently is not the case. So when people claim that they are accredited this and the other, it's almost impossible to know whether that claim is true or not. And of course, now we are dwelling also with generative AI and we have a lot of challenges around IP rights management. So that's another set of use cases that we will be looking at and hopefully finding a way and a solution with Web3 technologies. So just to give you some ideas of the challenges associated with verification, and I take this from one of our partners, because in everything that is verification of products, we work together with the European Union Intellectual Property Office, which is known as UIPO, and they work with us on this verification of products and verification of brand ownership. And as you can see here, they estimate that 9% of your consumers, so they say 40 million people, were tricked in buying a fake product instead of a genuine one, which is quite a sizable number. And they say that 33% wondered whether the product they had purchased online was real or fake. So it really means that this topic of how can I know if this piece of information, if this product is a genuine one, is an authentic one or not, right? And then they estimate that this is actually, in terms of hard euros, around 119 billion eventually of counterfeit and pirated goods. So it's a huge market. So if we can find a solution to this problem, we are, of course, making people happier because they spend their money on genuine products, and at the same time getting this money back to the brands that own the products, instead of giving this money to the counterfeiters that, of course, have an incentive to continue to do so. So the product, if we don't find a solution to verification, the problem will most likely continue to grow. So to give you a quick example of why is verification still today a challenge? So that's me, and I will claim here and now that I have a major in economics. And this claim, of course, can be either true or false. And I guess that it's anyone's guess if it's true or false. So you have 50% chance of getting it right. You can pick one or the other. Now, if you don't want to guess, there are other ways to know if what I'm stating is a true claim. So let's look at this in a continuum where we put time here in the scale. As you can see, time is important because I don't want to waste, days and hours verifying the statement, but I want to have a result that I can trust. So we need to always take into account that verification is a trade-off between the time I spend and the result I get. So if I want to spend really little time to know if what I'm saying is true, probably what you will do, you will go online and you will search my name, and you will probably find my LinkedIn profile, and you will see that I claim in my LinkedIn profile that I have indeed a major in economics. Now, would that be something that you can trust more than what I'm stating here? Probably not. So it means that indeed you went online, you found an answer, but that answer does not give you much more information than what I'm stating here to you here and now. Another way to do this would, of course, for you to ask me to send you a digital version of my diploma, and that will probably take some hours, and I will probably send it by email. But what tells you that that PDF was not generated by me and that it's absolutely fake? How can you trust that what I'm sending you is not just another way of faking my degree in economics? Well, another way to do it is, of course, to ask my paper diploma that comes from my university, and that will probably take days because it's paper. I will need to send it by post. Takes a long time. But the only way to really know if what I'm telling you is real is to actually contact my university. And that will probably take weeks because you will not need to get a contact there. You will need to call them, and then you will need to get in touch with my university to receive that information. So as you can see, today there is a real problem, which means that we don't have any solution that is in this space. Very fast and at the same time really easy to get a trustworthy result, a result of high trust. So that kind of optimal solution in this space is currently non-existent. Um, and we believe that blockchain technology, coupled with digital wallets and verifiable credentials, can provide a solution that is in this space. So, what does this mean? It means that instead of thinking that in the future platforms, social, like platforms like LinkedIn, and I'm not just specifically talking about LinkedIn here, can be any of the other platforms, would gather more information about us and centralize that information so that they can provide more reliable information, which is definitely a way to achieve this objective. We can find a solution that is not centralizing our data and not creating a dependency on these platforms. So, and that solution would be, as I explained, to rely on Web3 technologies and to have actually that information as verifiable information using verifiable credentials, using digital wallets and blockchain. Now, the blockchain will never contain my information. This is important for you to understand. We don't use blockchain to store diplomas or to store any information about anyone or anything, really. We use blockchain to store information about the issuers of the information. And I will explain a bit the use of blockchain in more detail. But what we want to do is essentially that the diploma becomes issued in a verifiable format that is signed electronically by the issuing entity, meaning my university, and that diploma is stored on a digital wallet and that it can be shared directly by me with anyone asking me for that information. Now, we use blockchain as a trusted list of issuers, where actually when the issuer, meaning the university, sign the information, right? They sign it and they make the public key that can be used to verify the electronic signature available via the blockchain. And they also make information available about them on the blockchain so that the verifier knows that this is a Portuguese university accredited by the Portuguese Ministry of Education. So we use the blockchain simply as a trusted list of issuers and a distribution mechanism of public keys so that the keys are available to the verifiers and that the information can be verified easily anywhere. So that's really the way that we are using the blockchain. We don't store hashes of the information. We don't store the information itself. When it comes to the diploma is on the digital wallet. The digital wallet is with me, uh, the holder of the diploma, and no one else. Okay? So I hope you get a quick understanding of what we are aiming to achieve, why we are aiming to achieve it, and how we are already achieving it. Now, this same approach, the use of verifiable credentials, blockchain, and digital wallets, can be done without storing information on chain, as I explained, just using the blockchain as a trusted list of issuers of information. This can be used for verification of information about citizens, about businesses, and about things. And we work with our sister DGs of the European Commission, the Director Generals, the other departments to achieve this. So we are working on, as I explained, the education credentials, and we do that with DG Employ and DG EAC. We're also working with the same DG, the Director General for Employment, for the posting of workers, mobility of workers across Europe. When it comes to businesses, we are focusing on this idea of brand ownership and verification of products, as I explained with the UIPO. And we are also looking at the trustworthiness of statistics with Eurostat. So quite versatile way of using Web3 technologies. And I believe that many other use cases can be added to this list. And if you're interested, you can go online and know more. Again, when you go online and you look at our documentation, you will probably see this type of diagrams that will show what I just told you. What we aim at is that issuers issue information as verifiable credentials, that is a W3C standard. The credentials are stored on digital wallets. We use digital wallets provided by the market. We just do a conformance testing on those digital wallets that then share information with verifier applications that can very quickly understand whether the information comes from the rightful owner of the information, thanks to something that is called decentralized identifiers, meaning it's something stored on the wallet that ensures that the information was received from the issuer, stored on that wallet, and it's coming from that wallet. And then, given that the verifier is not in contact with the issuer, they can take the information about the verifiers out from the blockchain, and they can be absolutely sure that the verifier is entitled to issue that type of information, and they can also get the public key that allows them to verify the electronic signature of the issuer. And finally, in case the key has been revoked, they can also have access to that type of information. Um, as you can see, we are aiming at a very privacy-preserving way of verifying information where the user stays in control of their data. We have a multi-vendor open market approach. The wallet providers are not controlled by us. They come from different projects, either from the public or the private sector. And the only common aspect is that they have to pass a conformance testing exercise to ensure that the wallet is compatible with the specifications of EBSI. And once they do so, we put them on their website as having passed the conformance testing, and everyone can verify that that is the case. So a quick summary, we want to make information almost impossible to fake, but very easy to verify. And we believe that Web3 technologies can achieve this with high level of certainty that the issuer is trusted, alongside, of course, the time of issuing, the expiry date. We also have a high level of certainty that the holder is the one that shows the information. And finally, we know that the verifiers have easy access to information, and they keep, of course, the information that is shared by the holder and not more. So it means that, again, we are emphasizing here on the privacy of our privacy going forward. You can know more about the BSI and the Early Adopters Program online. We have an incubator program with many different entities experimenting or using these technologies. Everything is online. And we also have in Brussels an experience center where people can come and experiment with wallets, with verifier apps, uh, everything that we do. So in case you come to Brussels and you are interested, you can come and visit the EBSI Experience Center. I don't know if there is time for questions. I asked that before starting the presentation. I try to keep to my time slot of 30 minutes, which I was apparently able to do so. So I will stop sharing the slides and I will give the floor back to you. Sergey, I think you are mute.
Yeah,
You are
yeah. My apologies. Yes. Joao, thank you so much for very insightful presentation. Dear visitors of the conference, feel free to ask the questions in the chat so we can see them and we can ask Joao. I actually have multiple questions myself. So there will be over two categories. First, from the organization standpoint, and the second is from technical standpoint. I wanted to ask. So first, you said that you are currently not launched on the full scale, but you already have a couple of pilots. I wanted to ask, basically in Ukraine, we're also reviewing multiple pilots and how the program should be organized, and multiple government bodies are working on this. And I wanted to ask, is the full scope of the project is defined already, or it is still kind of you are moving iteratively? If the scope is defined, we're not asking you to disclose it if this is the classified information. But in general, how do you approach to the management of such a large and ambitious project?
Yeah, as I try to explain, we have these use cases that have support from the policymaker in the Commission. So those are projects that we put like resources working on them, and that we, of course, support the business in making the use case work in this decentralized way. So eventually they have an alternative to do it via a centralized database or via messaging, and then we try to compare the different architectural designs. So we do this with resources coming from the EBSI team. So these are, let's say, the priority use cases. Now, in the early adopters, people are using their own resources to use EBSI, and they can be quite creative as long as they use our APIs. So if you have an idea of a different use case that can benefit from our APIs, you just go to the API catalog and you can use EBSI.
So people who are able to use it, are they? You said that this is a permission network, and which is quite clear. So yeah, for this use case, yeah, it should be permission. But the people who are able to use APIs, is it somehow permissioned, or they're?
Yeah, we will need to work with you in terms of getting the first entity that we have to, of course, do a KYC, and based on that, that entity can then relay the permission downwards. So we need to start the trust chain of that domain. So, for example, a Ministry of Education can enable, right, the universities to write on the blockchain without passing through us. So the idea is that you have an entity that we call TAO. It doesn't really matter now. You can read the specs, that we know and that we trust, and that based on that, that entity can then relay the trust to other entities without going through us. So the trust chain is created as from the moment where we have the first entity at the top. So in case you have, let's say, a interesting use case that can use our APIs, that doesn't require the development of a new API fundamentally, we would get in contact with you. You would say, I'm interested in using all these APIs. Okay, we would create a trust chain specifically for that use case. And then you would uh, manage it on your own in our pilot environment, which contains nodes across Europe.
Understood. Thank you so much. And basically, are you using some for validation of these people who are people organization? Basically, their permission. Is it how is it organized? Are you using some decentralized digital identity service, or it is more in traditional way right now?
Well, depends. We don't have a single defined way, so it depends on the domain. We can be flexible. So we don't have one defined way for every use case because, as I explained, there are also the early adopters that want to use the pilot. They want to use the. We have go to our catalog of APIs. We already have quite some APIs. Also, blockchain timestamping is in there. So many different APIs. So you have the the APIs that relate to the creation of the issuers, the creation of the data models that can be trusted, that are used by those issuers. So you will see that you have those different APIs. We also have APIs for blockchain timestamping. So let's say that you are interested in starting a use case and experiment with that blockchain. We need to understand what is the use case. We need to know you. And then the verification process is quite flexible. We don't have one, I mean, we will not mandate that you buy a qualified certificate so that we can verify your electronic signature. We can be flexible on that.
Understood. Yeah, thank you so much for this. You also mentioned in the previous answer the nodes, right? And the network is permissioned. And nodes, who are the nodes owners? Basically, are the participants? Are those only states or some state bodies, or there could be some large enterprises, semi-government bodies?
Yeah.
How do you?
So for the moment, they are public entities,
Mhm.
but this includes research centers and universities. So sometimes the member states have, as you know, digital agencies that are responsible for the digital program of that member state, and they have, the capacity to run their own node. But what we have seen is that sometimes research centers or universities also participate. Sometimes member states have, multiple nodes. That's fine, but all of them are public entities for the moment. And of course, public entities that use contractors. So the contractors are. For, let's say, all intents and purposes, we are talking about public entities, even though, of course, the nodes and the cloud where the node is deployed is private sector. But you should think about that the responsible entity for deploying and running the node is the public entity.
Okay, yeah, thank you so much for this. And now, basically, a little more of technical questions. You said proof of authority. Can you please explain why specifically this consensus algorithm? Why not something else?
Yeah, because at the time, what we said to ourselves is one of the main concerns around blockchain is the green aspect, and we have a lot of green use cases as well nowadays, wanting to explore the use of blockchain technology, even though they don't come really to fruition. Um, and as we control the nodes for the moment, so you cannot just deploy a node. Um, it means that the nodes are all trusted and they all comply with the same terms and conditions. So it would be easier if the ultimate validator would just be any node that wants. So you can deploy a validator node, or you can deploy, even though they all do validation, but the final validation node, we have specific nodes that assume that responsibility for the final verification, even though all of them verify. Uh, and that means that the blockchain is very efficient. We don't have any concerns in terms of energy consumption that could, raise some concerns from the parliament or the council. And that makes this blockchain, in terms of energy consumption, similar to any other information system, really. But we still get some pushback that blockchain is, of course, you know, high energy consumption, not sustainable, and all those things, because people think about proof of work or proof of stake. We also don't have gas as a side product because we are, of course, within this public sector environment. So we don't have any stake, any staking. Everyone is doing this for the public good. So it made sense to go for proof of authority. It's just conceptually, it made more sense. Of course, in the future, if we would start including other type of entities that don't go through the same process as the current ones and don't have the same, let's say, level of trust as the current ones, then indeed an alternative consensus mechanism would be needed. I understand that, but for the moment, in the current design, it's the most fitting one.
Understood. Yeah, thank you so much for the answer. We have one more question from the audience, and the question is: do you collaborate with universities in the terms of diversifying and applied use cases, or any theoretical extension of the scope and the framework?
Yes, yes. So we work a lot with universities because we have this diploma use case, and we want them to be issuers of their diplomas as a verifiable credential. We want them, well, we incentivize them to do so. There were some grants as well, but the financial incentives are limited, of course. So we would like universities that are more interested in innovation and technology to look at the spec and try to implement it. We don't necessarily aim at replacing, all PDFs that are around, but if you can do so, that would be great. And then, as I said, some universities, they also deploy nodes. They come through the Ministry of Education of the country most of the times, and they are trusted entities, and they're very motivated. Some of them have dedicated research centers on blockchain or Web3 technology, so they have very good understanding of the technology as well. And we collaborate with them in different aspects: infrastructure, the use case, possible directions for the future. So they are definitely one of our main partners also in this idea of, and you can go online, you'll see that we had a demo day, and many of the participants of the demo day that gave the demos were universities, and they did that without our involvement.
Okay, understood. Thank you so much. Please pose the questions if you have any follow-up questions, and I will return to basically. I have a follow-up question to this to this response. These universities. Basically, are they supposed to be, are they only the universities in European Union, or, for example, countries which are affiliated with Horizon program can also participate? Because Ukraine, as you know, is not a part of European Union, but we are an affiliated country in Horizon programs. Can our researchers or our universities or any our participants can join this initiative?
I think it would be possible. I don't know about deploying a node. That I don't know, because I would need to check with. As I explained, we are on the technological side. So I come from DG for Informatics. DG Connect is the policy owner, and they are the ones that are responsible for DVP. And Ukraine is already, as you know, an observer country. So deploying the node, I don't know if observers can do that. Something to be checked. But in terms of the use of the specs, in terms of, I don't know, a wallet, you have a wallet that you would like to pass the conformance testing, that is no problem whatsoever. If you want to just issue and read from the blockchain, that should be no problem in the uh, pilot environment. So I would, of course, still need to check depending on the request, but I would not close the door immediately to that scenario. And this is why you are an observer, is to give you access. I think you already have access to even not everything that is, not only everything that is online, which is only bsi.ec.europa.eu, but also to the wiki. Because if you are part of the VP, I'm sure you are also having access to the wiki that is behind the ulogin account. So definitely, I mean, just get in touch with us, and we can have that discussion.
Understood. Thank you so much. We may return more like in a private format with some follow up questions. I think one of the last questions, if no one from the audience will ask anything else, you mentioned wallets. The question is, what are these wallets and how do you select the wallets which you support? So, for example, like
Yeah, we don't.
yeah. Basically the
Yeah,
industrial.
we don't select the wallets.
Please.
Yeah, we don't select the wallet. So it means that if you go online and you look at our website, you will understand immediately because it's. So if you want a wallet, you have to go through a conformance testing that is actually online as well. So you don't need even to get in touch with us. You can start the conformance testing on your own. And what will happen is that if you are able to conclude the conformance testing, you will contact us and we will check the logs and we will know that you have um, essentially your wallet conforms to the protocol that is needed to receive. So the wallet does not need to contact the blockchain, as I explained. The wallet needs to be able to receive the diploma, for example, from the issuer and needs to be able to share the diploma with a verifier. So those two protocols have to be conformant to our specifications, right? Which means that by passing the conformance testing and showing that your wallet is indeed conformant with both protocols and with some additional specifications that we have online, you are then, let's say, having a discussion with us for us to get to know you and then to put that information online. So if you go online, you will see that we already have multiple wallets that pass the conformance testing and that we know that are, let's say, actors in the market or public initiatives that have created wallets, and they are advertised as conformant to our specifications. And then it's not us to prescribe the wallet, it's every use case. So every holder or every use case decides to use one or multiple wallets.
Understood. Thank you so much. So to summarize, for myself and for the audience, basically the every developer of the wallet can go, can prepare their software to to comply with your requirements, and after passing the test, this wallet may use the infrastructure.
Uh, it's not really you. As I said, the wallet does not contact the blockchain. So in the end, if you are conformant with the specifications, we advertise the wallet on our website. So we say this entity that provides this wallet, this version was confirmed to be conformant to the specifications.
Okay, understood. Thank you so much for addressing this amount of questions. Yes, it was very insightful and very helpful, and we believe we can learn a lot from your experience. Let me give one final minute for other participants, maybe to join some follow-up questions, and if not, we will process to another speaker. So, any more questions to Joao Rodrigues, Frade?
Thank you very much. And I guess that you have the slides. In case you have any questions, everything is really online, and you can, just look for what you need. Otherwise, we can have a follow-up discussion if you have, let's say, really concrete interest and a concrete possible use case. We can continue then the discussion.
Well, thank you so much for this opportunity. Thank you for being with us. And yeah, we wish you to have a great rest of the Friday. We hope you will stay with us or will join us a little later. Thank you.
Likewise. Thank you.